I wanted to show you this mistake because I typically don't do this, but as you can see, when I was welding over here, when I was welding the bracket over here, because I'm concerned about the manual pull pin and the actuator arm lining up so you could pull it out, because I'm concerned with that, I always leave the arm on there, make sure I can pull it in and out easy, and just put a little tack weld. Now this time I made a small mistake, but it's easily corrected if you know that you've done it. And you can see that on here, you see this little slag left over from the weld, or splatter left over from the weld. If that arm retracts into here, and as of right now it's not set to, if it does retract in there, there's seals in here and felt in here that it'll wear groove in there, and then everywhere where that groove is worn will suck water into it. Now over time that'll be an issue, but you want to catch that. Now one of the things that you can do, and you've got to be real gentle with it, is just take your wire brush and just brush it. You don't want to brush it too heavily. It's going to be tough to do with two hands, or with one hand rather. So you don't want to brush it too heavily. You just want to knock those little burrs off. And you can knock them off one at a time if you have to, and I may have to with these. That's something you just got to be cautious of. If you make that mistake, just knock those off. But you don't want to make a divot inside of here any worse than you already have, and then you also don't want to leave this, because it'll obviously again bust the seal in here or wear the seal, and that'll possibly shorten the life of the actuator arm. Just a cautious thing. It happens every once in a while. You can just see there's a couple on there, but I'll brush them and it'll be okay. You extend the arm out just a tad bit, and that way make sure you're not ripping the seal over here if you're brushing it, and then you just brush it. And I'll turn this just a little bit so you can see. So you can see there's just a few little divots in there, but that'll be okay. But that's just a trap. You got to be careful. If you're not paying attention to what you're doing, you might not be able to fix it. So the main thing is I want to just feel that and feel it's smooth, and it is. And you can see as I turn it, to one little. It might just be just a black smudge, but there's one little spot that I just saw. No. I'm looking at this edge right here. Get out of focus. Alright. So anyways, we're good to go. So I'll track this back in a little bit, and there we're good to go. I guess one thing you could do is, if you wanted to make sure you didn't do it, is just, if you've got enough room in the arm, just extend the arm out past where those little that splatter is. Alright, so that's it. Now we've got this mounted. As you can see, the pin comes in and out smoothly. Like I said, smoothly. Anyways, I'll wear that in there just a little bit. So it comes in and out smoothly. So that was the goal with that. And I'm doing it in the closed position. If you get it level in the open position to where it's easy to come in and out, but not in the closed position, it doesn't do you any good. Because the only time that they're going to be concerned with getting this pin out is when it is in the closed position. So we're good to go, and extend this out just a little bit more. Now this is not something you need to be doing at home. You need to adjust that actually in the arm, but I'm doing that for a reason. You need to adjust that in the limits, but I'm doing that for a reason. So it is not something that is recommended. We've got our arm level, as you can see. If it's in the line, it's fine. We've got actuator arm back here, level, and you can see that I just got it tacked. I got a good fist in between the gate and the actuator arm, and now I'm just going to make my connection over here on this side and run the actuator arm and get the limit set, because obviously we don't have it. We don't have a saw cut in the ground over here to run the wire from one side to the next, so we need to still test it, make sure everything's good, so we can burn our welds in for the drop pin plate and then the support arm for the actuator. Finish welding those, but I've got to be able to run it open and close to make sure I got my angles right. But one thing that we can also do is just push the gate all the way open and then get an idea of what the spacing is in between the arm. And again, we've got a fist there, so we're good. Yeah, you know, I'm going to go ahead and burn it in. I'm confident that that's not going to be an issue, so I'll burn it in right now, and then that way I won't have to make this connection twice. But that's not what I typically do. I typically run it a couple of times. I'll run it one time and make sure I've got good clearance, but we're not going to do that today. We're running out of daylight, and we got to come back anyway, but if we can get everything welded now, we won't have to set up for the welder.